Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to this deep woo-woo tarot reading by Janine episode. You can find her work at Sending Ravens here on YouTube and also at Tarot by Janine. Janine, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Jean-Claude. I'm happy to be here. Hi, everybody.
How are you doing today, Janine?
Good. Really good.
You've been following the news? I've been struggling to find some news items to talk about for tonight.
I couldn't even keep up today. It was just coming in so fast.
Yeah, this crazy times going on. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here tonight on this live interactive show. We'll be trying to take your comments and your questions as we go. And of course, we're very grateful for you guys in the PayPal tip jar. I see quite a few already in there. So let me bring that link up on the screen for you guys. You guys are amazing. A big thank you. Let me see there. Okay. And yes, not only that, but I have to say, Janine, yes, I've been struggling today to keep on top of the news. Of course, this is my third show today. But on top of that, I'm getting crazy tons of emails. A bunch of new people have just found our episodes, and most specifically the one we did, this one here, without reading the title. So there's a bunch of new people looking at this episode and emailing me today, and I've just spent hours and hours and hours trying to respond to everybody here. I'm doing my best, but I'm kind of drowning right now in some of these emails. And for a lot of it, it's people who are buying our pay-per-views for the very first time. They get the confirmation page, they click on the link, and they're like, wait, I don't know my password. I'm like, it was right there just below the link, and you just jumped over it. And now, anyways, so most of these people I'm responding to, and then half an hour later, they respond back, oh, shoot, I got it. Sorry, I didn't mean to bother you. So, but they're very stressed because there's, of course, I understand. They're very stressed, and they're probably from this neck of the woods, and they want to see the episode. They want to know what's going on. And now the link isn't working, but it's because they didn't read the confirmation email. Anyways, so I get it, but it's been a hard day, and I've been trying to respond fast to them so that they don't freak out. It's I'm like, no, here's your password. You already got it. It's in your email. It's in your confirmation page. Okay. So it's been one of those crazy email day. Man, Sarah was looking at the feed going through the earlier today. She's like, wow, that's crazy, man. You need to hire somebody. I'm like, I know, right? Okay. Oh, man. All right. So a big thank you again to everyone here tonight. Where do I start? I don't even know what to start. Janine, did you put out a video today? Is there something very quick off the cue that you want to share with the audience? And while you do that, I'm going to start lining up a few questions for you.
Well, I was on Nicholas Veniamin, and he just talked about, things that you and I have been talking about. So kind of didn't really bring any news there, just repeated a lot of things. I did a drive-in chat and shouted out what we've been up to because we've been so busy, you and I.
Right.
And yeah, that's probably where all those people after my drive-in chat went over and
there's that
Australia.
There's a couple of things. So I did put out a MailChimp notification today. Okay, so by the way, somebody's asking, please put the link in the chat. Okay, it's in the chat now. So that's the link to episode 23. This is the poster you're looking for when you get there. And okay, so first of all, not only there's a lot of people having some issues trying to connect there because it's their first time and they didn't read the instructions, but a lot of people are also saying, oh my God, thank you so much. This puts a lot of pieces of the puzzle together for us. We didn't know. And so they're really appreciative of this piece here. So I did put out a MailChimp notification. So that, of course, increased the reach here today. And I did a show with Catherine Edwards earlier this afternoon as well. And as soon as that show finished, because we were talking about this as well, then suddenly a huge influx came in. And I can see from my analytics that somebody really pumped this out on Twitter and also on Instagram, because there's a lot more links coming in from those sites than usual. So somebody's pushing this out and promulgating this. And I guess there's a huge appetite for it, basically, is what's happening here. So, wow, crazy day. Oh, and on that note, you and I had invited Tamara to maybe do a part 2 with us. Yeah. So I did contact Bryce earlier today, and she did put us in contact with Tamara and gave Tamara the links to this episode so that she can go and watch it. So that's in the works, folks. We're going to try to do a part 2 to all of this here and bring Tamara into the conversation here. So we're going to give her time to watch the episode and get everything in order for you guys here, because there's a lot more developing there. Also, tomorrow, at this is at 4 p.m. Indigo Angel is coming back on the show, and if you go watch her channel, Indigo Angel 222 on YouTube, she's been decoding a lot of stuff on Australia here in the last couple of days and weeks. But she's culminating in this big piece that we were supposed to do last Friday, but she was missing a few downloads. But that will be tomorrow at 4. So please come and join us for this one here, Indigo Angel Galactic Download. It's going to be a fabulous episode. Okay. Now, where do I start? Let me bring up my Twitter feed, because there's so many things I tweeted about today. I'm like, oh, this is for the show, this is for the show. And then I realized, oh my God, if I keep adding here, we're going to need to do one show a night here. This 2 a week is just not enough. So let's look at this one here. New York is, of course, talking about declaring a state of emergency for the fact that, all of these healthcare professionals are leaving the workforce here because they're being forced out and quit and threatened for their jobs and all of this stuff. So they're creating the emergency, and now, of course, they're going to announce this emergency, which is going to lead to what else? Health situations for a lot of people not being able to get healthcare, perhaps more control mechanisms because of this. So why don't we pick some cards there? What do you think is really behind all of this? Well, how is it possible that these employees just a couple of weeks ago were heralded as heroes, and now apparently they're, scum of the earth, they're outcasts, they're pariahs, and they have to get their paycheck cut today, apparently, immediately, as a severe punishment for wanting to take a personal choice. That's the best way I can put it here on the censored show. So what are they trying to accomplish by all of this? Other than, of course, the mandate of getting everybody stuck in the arm, what else is going on here in New York and other states that are doing the same thing?
Well, they seem to want to push them out. I wonder why. They're trying to cause as much trouble on the way out the door, these guys, as they can possibly. And having the healthcare system that I think they've infiltrated a whole long time ago. And they've been paying all of the higher ups, we figured out, in the healthcare system. And so these are people that aren't going along with what their bosses, the managers, the people running the hospitals, the people running the clinics, they're not going along with them because they weren't in on this big power grab, and they weren't getting paid out from, as far as I know, maybe some of them were, but as far as I know, they're not getting paid out to be in on this, or they have too much integrity because they didn't get into nursing or whatever to take away people's human rights.
Right.
And literally, they're what they're doing to people in hospitals. We can't say it on the show, but
yeah,
we think it's ground zero, for the war kind of thing.
Right. Pretty much. And okay, so I'm not going to read what's on the script here from InfoWars, and you can see what's been put in red, and I believe that's Cliff High who added that up. And that's interesting because, of course, again, we're talking about these exemptions for other people. So rules don't apply across the board. And just like there's exemptions now for Congress, for political staff in the United States, for their Senate, yet everybody else in the federal service has to get the thing up the what. So It's just, it's so in your face. It's frustrating. And so again, why are they're creating another crisis here in the health situation to maybe blame the people who are, let's just call them refuseniks? Is that what's going to happen? If we went 2-3 weeks in the future here, and if, let's say, all of these nurse practitioners and other people who are working in the field disappeared, they're no longer there to offer services because they've been fired, are we going to see a bunch of people dying from heart attacks and all, broken bones and whatever else, and then have the media spin that around and say, oh, that's all because of the refuseniks? Is this part of their strategy?
This feels like, I know you guys are going to laugh at me again, but this feels like a white hat op again. Yeah, it feels like they're allowing this to happen because they want you to see how corrupt your medical system is. They want you to see how corrupt the government is. So it got out in the news that everybody in Parliament is not expected to take the but they're making everybody else. would they actually admit that, or even the mainstream media be allowed to admit that, if this wasn't a big part of the movie? Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're pushing to get people to say no.
Mm-hmm.
They're pushing for people to stand up and go, okay, this is ludicrous.
Well,
I don't know what it'll take for some people.
Well, potentially their loved one dying because they didn't get their service at the hospital because of all of this. Maybe that's where that's going to. And it's like, I mean, my God, my heart goes out to everybody who's in this situation and who has to deal with this like dead on, front line and center. It's absolutely ridiculous. But in terms of waking up people, I met a guy this weekend who's just a regular, and I'm not saying this in a condescending way, a regular hardworking, blue collar guy, like very good family guy. Like it's just, the guy works like, 20 hours a day. And he took the thing a couple of months ago, and I remember seeing a few of his comments on Facebook, being about responsible, being a good Canadian and things like that. But then when I talked to him this weekend, he's like, if I had to start over, I wouldn't take it. I'm like, oh, why? Did you get sick or anything? He says, well, I was down for a couple of days, but it wasn't that. It's just like, JC, it's like they're lying about everything. So this is for my guy, of course, who doesn't do what you and I do, right? And I'm like, they are? And so I was like trying to figure out what he was saying. He says, well, it's all these things, and then it's this other thing. And I said, at a certain point, he says, you can't trust the fuckers. I'm like, I know, right? Yep. So we're getting to that part of the population too, who's typically not involved in the information field the way you and I are. So it's moving. Is it moving fast enough to stop this train? I hope so. I don't know. Wow. Okay. Anyways, my heart goes out to him too, because he's worried that he took it, that his family took it, and now he's hearing, because he's waking up to this, he's reading other things online, and he's realizing maybe they did make a mistake. So not just, hey, they lied to us, which is the first part of him waking up and being a little bit angry, but then realizing, wait, do we have long-term damage to this that we don't yet know about? Were they lying about that too? Because apparently some of these things that were supposedly safe, now we're learning they're not safe. And even our government said, oh, let's take that off the shelf. Just don't talk about this one anymore. And you guys know what we're talking about. So there's a lot there. Wow. Okay. Amanda Sinclair, I guess you're the first one in my PayPal tip jar. Let's go here. I cannot decide between 4 business ventures. I finished writing my novel. B, homeschooling blog. C, YouTube channel, helping navigate cognitive dissonance. Or D, local farm. Okay. So 4 doors. Janine, which door should Amanda Sinclair jump through? Let's get some cards on that. That's great. I love the way she wrote that. Thank you, Amanda.
I'm pulling a card for each one.
Okay.
With a clarifier.
Okay.
A, B, C, D. Okay, so A's looking really good. What was A again?
Okay, let me bring this up in the center screen. It's a little bit bigger for you guys. Hold on. Can you guys see that? Yeah. Okay. A, between 4 business.
Finish writing my novel.
Yeah.
And then homeschool looked like a good practical choice, but homeschooling blog. Okay, maybe she could add that in, because that sounds, those two could even go together, because it looks okay.
Okay.
It looks okay, but not the best one is her writing.
Okay.
And then C
YouTube channel, helping navigate cognitive dissonance.
It'll help a lot of people. So C looks like that's actually good for the whole. So if she feels like she has extra energy after she's working on A and B. And then local farm looked like it'd give her a lot of joy, and she might be able to get to that later. So that might come later, but these other things looked really important, and in particular, writing her novel.
Wow. Okay. Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah. Huh. But all of them, I think she could tackle all of them at some point. Some of those can even be laced together, right?
There you go. Superwoman Amanda Sinclair. I love that. Okay. I love that. Thank you, Amanda. That was great. Next one, Ricardo Mercado. Okay, I hope I say that right. Good evening, Jean-Claude, Janine, JC. Okay, I want to know about the future of Brazil. our president is close to Mr. T. Love you both. Okay.
Now, wasn't he the fellow that stood up in the fake UN assembly that I'm pretty sure was all just a bunch of, fakeness? Didn't he stand up and speak about, well, he was the only one that was making any sense about the whole ridiculous situation that's going on?
Yes. So look, let me just bring this up. We're gonna have to be careful on some of the words here. So
yeah. That's what I'm doing, trying to
right. Right. Okay. So yes. Well, here they're saying that he had to isolate himself after that speech. Of course, they would say that, if he's outspoken against it. Of course. That's the first thing that comes up on a Google search from Reuters. So of course, this is absolutely the truth. The mainstream media would never lie to you. Okay. These are not the droids you're looking for. All right. So what's the future of Brazil here?
Okay. So they've had it really, really tough, it looks like, for a long, long time. But things are starting to look up, and it's because they've got a really good friendship with some powerful people. I wonder if that's Mr. T, like you were saying. Things are going to get a lot better for them. That's a celebration, where it's been really not. So it's not been like that for a really long time. I feel like they've had a really tough time, but their tough times are going to flip. We got the Wheel of Fortune, and it moves into a more joyous time for that place. I feel like more abundance. In particular, by this time next year, they're going to be a country that's experiencing more abundance than a lot of other places.
Okay. Oh, that's fascinating. Yeah. And again, it's all about this tables turnings, where the last will be first and the first will be last. How did you call it the other day? The meek shall
inherit the earth.
Yeah.
And apparently the word meek didn't used to mean weakness. Like when we hear that word, we think a kind of a weak person or a shy person, but it never used to mean that. Apparently it meant integrity, or there were some other meanings of it. So somebody wrote me and told me that. I was really grateful for that. It makes sense. They like to flip all these words on people.
Hold on, I just muted myself. Somebody said there was an echo, but we're back to normal 5x5. But Tam still hears an echo, so I'm not sure which channel they're on. There might be an echo on one of our channels. Ricardo says, okay, thank you so much. Thank you, I appreciate that. Okay, next one. I love this question. This is from June Hébert. June Hébert. How will the elders be treated in the new world? I don't think you and I have touched this before.
That's a good question, because I'm heading for that. Elders.
Right.
It's like, okay.
Melinda Petrovic says, love you both. Love you too. Thank you so much.
Fine.
TJ says, yeah, there was an echo, but not now. Okay.
It's been disappointing in the past, the elders. There's going to be a whole new creative way of looking at and finding a place for them. So likely they'll be involved in a lot of the new creation of new governments, and there's going to be a new and revived interest in them with that ace, where they've been sort of on the sidelines for a lot of, like a lot of places put elders on the sidelines, where in ancient times or what we were told, some of the stories we were told about ancient times. Now we can never be sure if those stories were true. Right. But say in some cultures, they were revered and asked their opinion about and had a lot of input in some cultures, certainly in North American, for instance, culture. And I'm thinking in a lot of cultures in Europe as well. I think I could speak for them. It seems like they get sort of put on the wayside and even forgotten about. And in particular, in North America, we like to put our elders in old folks' homes. I mean, not everybody does that, but it's a very common practice. And then everybody just goes visits them once a week and kind of, or if they even get around to that, and they get forgotten about. It feels like there's a more creative place for them where they get to have creative input. and are asked to input in the new creation of, because it's going to take years and years and years to recreate our world. I had a really great chat with my 18-year-old, and he was saying, yeah, Mom, when you're talking about whole new governments need to be, that's going to take time. And I said, yeah, and people like yourself are going to be largely busy having input, I hope, like young people, but also elders. I think we're going to have a really creative input from the elders. And this card here, more included, like the more inclusiveness to all ages and all, peoples. It just feels like it's a more inclusive, like they're not going to be.
We absolutely need that. We absolutely need that. And what's funny, in our last show, I think last week, there was a lady who said, hey, I keep getting these dreams. Am I on the Council of Elders? And the card says, yes, you're actually doing that work now. So that's famous. Maybe she'll be in charge of putting all of these elders together into work here for the benefit of mankind. So that's amazing. Okay, June Hébert, thank you for that question. The next one, Patricia. Let me bring that up. Patricia Dascoli, I believe. See, can you guys see that? Okay, there you go. Dynamic duo. Not to be a downer, but how do we know the baddies are not buying up all the silver? I'll let you do the cards, and then I'll bring up what we came up with in Australia just yesterday and see how that ties in also to all of this. Great question, Patricia. You're not being a downer. These are all great questions. Thank you.
5, 6, 7. Well, if they are, I think they have been. I definitely think they have been. But I also get a lot of their wealth is being absconded by the good guys. They're being confiscated by the good guys. So even if they were buying up all the silver, a lot of people believe, and I believe, that a lot of these heads of these big families have been rounded up. And a lot of Hollywood elites and the royals, in particular the British royals. We know the Vatican was cleaned out, apparently, a year and a bit ago, apparently. And so much wealth was taken out of there. So they're getting their wealth taken away from them. It's not accessible to them as it was.
Okay.
Yeah, so I get that they're taking a beating, and where they're going, I don't think silver is going to be something they're going to be able to take with them.
That's fascinating.
Trying to escape, right?
So for sure, with all this manipulation, JP Morgan is the biggest holder, the biggest custodian of physical silver. Those would be the baddies she's talking about. But what seems to also been being happening on top of what Janine just said, here in Australia, it appears that maybe the good guys are the ones removing the silver from the vaults here. And of course, we're thinking that this is all manipulation and people are beating down the drums, but there might be something else where this silver is being taken away so that the baddies can't get to them, or words to that effect that came out of this episode. So there's weird stuff going on with silver. And if you guys haven't seen the episode Silver Woo with David Morgan and Clough High, I put it free on my BitChute. Maybe start there to understand a little bit more the background of what's happening with silver and where silver is absolutely going here in the very near future, and why this time is different. There's a whole new ball game being played here, and this is, of course, also a deep dive that Janine and I did on the last Beyond Crypto Woo episode number 5. This one here. So if you haven't seen that and you're interested in getting a little bit more understanding of what this new organic economy will look like here as we're transitioning, this is the episode for you. So episode number 5, September forecast of the Beyond Crypto Woo. Okay, on the financial side, let me go back here. So yesterday, Fed Boston President Eric Rosengreen to retire after ethics issues. And then, so let me bring that up. And then later today, another Fed guy, again, also resigning all of a sudden on ethics issues. What's happening at the Federal Reserve? Why are all these guys now suddenly falling on ethics issues? Let's ask the cards. There's a few people asking, hey, is the Fed going to be defunct maybe in October after this debt ceiling thing? What's going on here? Why are these people leaving their jobs all of a sudden? Tower card.
Because the whole Fed's been exposed. So this card would be about exposure, because she's this is badly aspected with these two. Normally it's a beautiful healing card, but when it's badly aspected, it means somebody's in a vulnerable position or exposed. So they've been exposed, and all of their bad dealings and all the stuff they've been up to is coming out. I got a feeling as soon as you said that or showed us that little thing on, I think it was on Twitter, you showed it on the screen. I had the feeling that this already happened quite a while ago, and you're just hearing about it now. We're just hearing about it now. These guys were probably already carted off.
I think a lot of that is going to happen this year, where we're going to get news in real time, and then only to realize, oh shit, this happened 8 months ago, right? And perhaps that famous moment that the crypto viewers were looking at, the death of the petrodollar, where they saw these hunching congressmen puking, crying, and all this stuff in dismay, might have also already occurred. Okay. That's interesting with the financial system. Let me tie in some woo with all of this. But first, thank you, Sandra. I really appreciate that. She says, JC, you're such a wise soul. And wow, your interview skills are just amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's a good one. Because a few comments ago, somebody said, this is boring. I'm like, what? I thought we were being entertaining. Come on. Don't make me do my Australian accent for you guys. Okay.
Oh, please. Jean-Claude, can I break in here?
Go ahead.
I just wanted to remind everybody to go to BeyondMystic 3, because we got to up those numbers. I mean, you're on your 3rd channel, and it takes so much energy and work to recreate those channels when you get taken down unfairly, of course. But that's just the atmosphere we're in. So we need to get over to. So if you're watching it on the Tarot by Janine, don't forget, hop over and subscribe on Jean-Claude's BeyondMystic 3.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And yes, we're trying to rebuild that community. We're still not where we were on the last deletion here. It's growing, and it's funny. There's a lot of new people that I hadn't seen before, but I'm still looking for a few lost souls that we lost. And it was funny, when I got deleted, you had mentioned too that it wasn't necessarily because of my using inappropriate words here. It was also because they were trying to disband the community. That's how strong we are when we're all together. So I'm looking for all of you guys. Come back and share these videos with everybody. Okay, aspiring alchemist, never boring, JC. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that one. All right, we're back on track, frequency-wise. Okay, let's talk about some woo-woo. I thought this was funny. Our Billy, Bad Billy, as he was known as a kid in Montreal. This is, of course, William Shatner. He was up to a lot of tricks when he was a kid, and he got the nickname Bad Billy, like Bad Billy. So anyways, I said Bad Billy is going to space. So he's going to be the oldest person to be launched into space here with these personal endeavors. This is the Jeff Bezos rocket thing that looks like a penis. So I want to know, is he actually going to space? What's going on with our friend here, Bad Billy, Captain Kirk?
Okay, it looks like a creative stunt. I don't think he's actually going. I think it's a creative stunt to gather, I don't know, somehow this card could be more audience. They need more. It feels like, I want to say, so they're trying to drum up numbers watching this whole thing. So they're trying to drum up viewers.
Okay.
Yeah, so it feels like a creative stunt to drum up viewers, or somehow money's involved with that 10. Money, so they want to make more money. How would that make more money, I wonder?
Getting more people to sign up to go to space because Captain Kirk went. It's like you said, maybe a publicity stunt. That could be.
Yeah, so we'd have to follow the money on that one. How are they making money from announcing that he's, if there's a way that they're doing that, that's probably what we got going on here.
Well, I wonder if William Shatner is actually paying for his ticket, or if they are paying for his ticket in order to have this celebrity on and, as you say, create this. That's interesting. Well, let me put it out there. Mr. James T. Kirk or Mr. William Shatner, fellow Canadian, if you want to come on the show and talk about it, I'd love to interview you. We could talk about your career in space on TV, which I'm a big fan of. Of course, I'm a big Trekkie. But let's talk about this. So if one of your handlers sends you this video, please know you're always invited to the show, and Janine and I would be happy to have this conversation live with you. Absolutely. All right. And of course, I'm kidding about the Bad Billy thing, but this was a fundraiser a couple of years ago I went to in Ottawa, where William Shatner was hosting the event. It was called, I think it was called An Evening with William Shatner. Anyways, he's the one recounting the stories of his childhood, how mischievous he was, and then going into acting school, and his father calling him, you want to be a hanger-on, Bill? His father wanted him to take over the family company, and Bill wanted to be in the acting. Anyways, it was just a fascinating story as another Canadian here out of Montreal. So anyways, Bill, if you want to come on the show, you're welcome anytime. All right, let's move on to the next one. Let's see here. Okay, you and I talked about this the other day in China, how this bond market could eventually, so let me bring that back up. I'm trying to find out the screen again. Here, it just went off my screen. Hold on, folks. How this bond market in China with the situation of Evergrande could be a trigger point for China to try to revalue gold and silver. Now, that's very fascinating. And here again, we're seeing more rumblings. This is not contained, of course, and it's putting a lot of pressure on the Chinese Communist Party, where last week they went so far as to ban all digital currencies. And so there was two things to that. You and I talked about this in the Beyond Crypto Woo, but it deserves sharing here for the main audience. One thing, they're trying to introduce their own digital yuan, and so they don't want competition to their own central bank issued digital currency. And two, they're also trying to prevent people from leaking out of the system and perhaps creating a bigger liquidity issue in the bond market. So there's a lot happening here in China. Let's pull some cards to see how close we are to, of course, these look like dominoes. These are all these big, crazy cities here that were created through all of these bond leverages. Are these the dominoes that are about to fall here, figuratively speaking, that could lead us to this revaluation of gold and silver to get them out of trouble here financially?
Are those the empty cities?
Not these per se, no. I don't believe those are, they didn't mention that in these articles, although they could be. But yes, there are a lot of those empty, weird ghost cities in China. So if people are not sure about that, just type that into YouTube or Google and you'll find quite a few videos regarding that.
The sun, the judgment. So it's whatever's going on with that, what you just said, it's going to put a really different spin on abundance. This could be gold in particular, but I mean, it could be gold or silver, could be metals, but that card is related to the sun, and the sun is the energy of kind of gold, really.
Yeah.
It's golden colored. So the sun, so it's going to put a spin on. So I think what you said at the beginning, where it's going to be reevaluated because of that whole situation, it's going to create the reevaluation of gold and silver. I think you're on to something big there. I think it really will. Yeah, because it's creating them to have to really rethink how they're going to kind of, it's almost like they're, I want to say paying Peter to, how does that saying go?
Robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah, there's this shuffle going on, and I feel like it's going to fail. And then the next thing that's going to happen is the gold and silver really.
And that's also what Cliff was saying, that he was seeing in his data, that perhaps it was China that would be the first here to reevaluate both gold and silver, which leads us to that $600 silver that's been in the forecast for so long. And then he was talking about this debt debacle here in the United States, where our government might not disagree with another foreign country now reevaluating, because they are also in the same position here where they need to leverage up what little gold and silver they have here to maybe justify or back the system that is crumbling around them. So fascinating times indeed. Let me bring this up. As we're talking about this here, just hold on a second here. So this was the discount that Miles Franklin, Andy Sheckman here from Miles Franklin, gave the audience members here when we recorded this show on Friday. This was for the Insider Access Pass members. Of course, they have previewing for all of our videos, but they also have previewing for all of these discounts. But this discount is now open to the public at large, and this was $222 over spot for the Swiss Valkembe bars. So let me bring that link down in the chat now. And just so you know, the last week we did this promo for Cliff High and David Morgan. Within 2 days, Andy ran out of the promo. So everybody's excited to get their hands on physical silver. So if this is of interest to you, please don't wait too long and try to get this special here for yourself if you can. So that's the silver beyondmystic.net/BCW/silver. The link is in the chat now, and I'll also put it in the pinned comments right after the show here. Okay. What's next? Let me see. I'll go back to PayPal here. There was a great question. Jose. Okay, Jose, I think. Jose, maybe, or Jose. Will I be able to buy XRP at a lower price and be able to create generational wealth for my family? That's 2 questions. Let's talk about just timing. We don't do financial timing or anything like that here, but let's talk about, generally speaking, what we know about XRP. You and I have done some deep dives already in all of our Beyond Crypto woos, but let's ask the audience here, and for the audience, what's XRP going to be doing here, let's say in the next 5 months from now? That's probably the furthest out we've looked at this so far.
Yeah, because if he was a client, there's a lot of variables to that. It would depend on, does he follow the advice of the reader? You know, is he working on his own feelings of worthiness for abundance? I know that sounds weird, but abundance is spiritually connected. Like, for the most part, if you're a really good person, now, if you're a demonic person, they've been collecting abundance in demonic ways, and that's been available to them because they put so much focus on it, used ritual and other people's energy to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's that way you could get it, but you have to sell your soul to get it that way. And then the only other way to achieve it, if you're a good person or an integral person, is to actually do your spiritual work. So the more you become trusting and universally believing you'll have abundance. So that second part of his question, can he create generational wealth? Well, he could, even if XRP wasn't how it was going to happen. He absolutely could. That anybody could, actually, believe it or not, if they literally do connect with their soul and daily put out there that you are walking towards, and that's what you're creating, and talk about it as if it already is. You have to do it literally daily, and sometimes it takes years, and then do the work. So staying open to, well, what does the universe put me to work doing?
Right.
That's the way I stepped my way very carefully and slowly into every year I'm gaining in the abundance, and it's becoming easier and flowing more simply.
Right.
Because I did the work. You got to do the work, right? Okay.
So Jose, and for the other audience members who might not have seen this, what Janine is speaking about now, we went through in detail last night in this first episode this new series that we're starting called Spiritual Finance, where we get into the responsibility of abundance and how to create that and be responsible for it. And this whole concept that people who are in the spiritual community do not need to be poor to be able to do their work. The game is shifting here on the planet, as Doreen Dotan was saying. There's new rules of engagement here on Earth, and so these elements are no longer wishing to be used by the enemies of humanity. So that means that we can also now tap into these magical elements here on Earth. So go check out that episode. It was from last night at 8 o'clock Eastern. It's on the channel now, both on Sending Ravens and here on Beyond Mystic. Okay, go with the cards, Janine.
Okay, it looks like if he stays with, and maybe even does some active moves towards gaining even a little more XRP, right? So we don't know what he's got going on, but so this card says he has to take some action, and within 4 months, I got that as months. Sometimes it's shorter, but I got months for that. He could really see some big returns here, but he'd have to sit on it for that long to really see the kind that He's visualizing, but he'd also have to take some action. And it looks like he already knows what that is, or he has an idea about it already.
Right.
He's had the inspiration, but he's a little bit fearful. And of course, we're not giving financial advice, and we're definitely not telling people to gamble or do anything that they couldn't. Like they always say when it comes to investing, you don't want to take all your security and just invest the whole. I mean, some people do that, but I certainly wouldn't tell a family person to do that.
Right.
Definitely not. So we're not trying to give that kind of advice. But he was already inspired, and his cards are encouraging him to follow that inspiration, but also do the spiritual work. That's the part you always have to remember. The thing that's really interesting that a lot of people don't understand about tarot card readers and people that do the kind of work I'm doing. For 35 years, every single reading I ever did, and I did them daily for hours a day. Every single reading, there was if you do, work on self-love, stop giving your power away, blah, 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 that this, and this comes. Yeah. There's always and then when it wasn't working out for people, they'd come back and be like, well, that thing didn't happen. I'm like, okay, did you do this, and this that we talked about?
Well, no, that's too hard.
On your intention, have you? Yeah. Spirit world, we're all here to do work.
Yeah.
I know that sounds weird, but that's what your soul agreed to do.
Yeah.
So if you're just sitting around and you just want everything to happen for yourself, that's never going to happen.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. And the fear part you just mentioned here too, there are bad actors out there putting out what's called FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt in these markets because they're trying to shake the weak hands out of these markets so that the big boys can play. So there is that also. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be fearful. There is danger in this market. So you need to educate yourself and make sure you're taking the right decisions for yourself. And again, go check out the Beyond Crypto. We went even deeper on this XRP and where it's going in the 4-month timing. It's about right for the huge abundance there. Holly Schwartz says it's going way up higher than 600. She's talking about silver. Yes, of course. Now, not only did we confirm this in this episode, but we were doing a deep dive on some of the cliff high data on the silver, which was, of course, in his point of view, also only a starting point to let you know that the system was basically broken, the system of manipulation, and that it was the starting gate for much, much, much higher prices. We got into how high that actually will be by next February or March of next year. So again, please do go and check that out. Episode number 5. Okay, Jose. Okay, that was that one. XRP. The next one, Dawn. Janine, please tell me about my estranged husband who is AB negative blood. Please tell me about my estranged husband who is AB negative blood. Not sure where Dawn is going with that, but that's fascinating, energetically speaking. How do you want to tackle this one, Janine?
Is that really rare blood, maybe?
Negative blood type, yes, Rh negative. That's what she's saying. And AB is relatively rare. I think A is rarer, and the O might be O negative might be less rare than the AB. So basically, it's human type 1 and human type 2. AB negative.
Oh wait,
that's also the Jesus bloodline. I think.
I just figured out what she's actually asking. So I was reading that second part. So she's saying she made a donation. I thought she was meaning that her husband made a blood donation at certain dates. I was like, okay, what are you getting at? But no, that's not what she's saying. Yeah. She's just wanting to know about her estranged husband. I'm not exactly sure what she wants to know about him, but I'll see what I get around it. Like, because she's just, I guess, referring to that negative blood.
Right. That's interesting.
Somehow insinuating
for her, it ties into the equation. So let's see what the cards can pull there.
Yeah.
Don Renee Carlson Bennett. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So in the future, though, you want to really get the most out of your reader, going to any reader, be specific about what do you want to know exactly about your husband? Because I could literally get, him and his mom had a bad relationship. The universe will tell us all kinds of stuff about your ex-husband. Like, what do you want to know? What are you getting at? You should be more specific in your question. Just saying, because you want to get your money's worth out of your card reader. When you go to a card reading, I always used to tell my people, you don't have to give the reader all the details, because they'll get, if they're good, they'll get that. Never mind about that. But you do need to tell them what you're trying to get.
Right.
What do you want to know? Because if I just tap into her ex-husband, I could get all kinds of stuff about him that wouldn't even, she doesn't want to hear about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm going to see what I get.
Okay.
Okay, this is really weird. Okay, so I hope she writes and tells us, did this, is the person on the earth plane, is what I want to know, because his cards look like he either suddenly left the earth plane or he suddenly went, possibly lost his mental facilities.
Okay, I'm scanning the chat. I know it's going by really fast, but Dawn,
suddenly, and there's, and but it, so he either suddenly left the earth plane and there's big secrets around it, or he suddenly lost his mental facilities, and it's because of some kind of big secret in his past. So there's some kind of really big secret in this person's past. I wonder if they were in a bloodline family or had really big traumas in the family as they were growing up, and it suddenly impacted them later in life. But I would need her in front of me to really understand. But there's very strange cards. Suddenly, he's either taken off the earth plane or his mind goes where it's like he's not here. And it's based in something, a secret in his past. That's a long held secret. So it could be sometimes when people when they're older, they'll lose their mental facilities, especially if they've been really abused and then repressed it.
Wow.
Right. Okay. So something was going on in his past that was kept a secret even to himself, maybe. And it's suddenly affected him, creating him either to literally pass over, if he hasn't already, he may, and or actually lose mental facility, because that's the outcome. So there's a loss there, possibly of mental facility, because it's a swords, but it could also be literally a loss, because then it's backed up with the death card. So it's very, when you have the death card and the moon in the same reading, to anybody who's studying tarot, now you actually, the death card can actually mean leaving your body self. Okay.
Here she says, Don Bennett says, I believe it's the same Don. Yes. After he left me, people are saying he has lost control. So that losing the mind thing you were saying.
Yep. Okay. That makes total sense. He's totally lost it here. And he has a lot of repressed secrets, all the way stemming back into his family background, which could even be why the connection didn't work out. It may not have anything to do with her personally. He may not be able to be in a loving relationship because of traumas from the past that were all repressed or kept secret.
Wow. A lot of those guys are in that position. Shit.
Yeah.
Okay. My heart goes out to you, Don. I hope that helps a little bit at least. Okay, next question. Let's see here. I had something on the chat. Oh, Smiling Eyes. I love the elders question. Great one. Yes, absolutely. And Smiling Eyes, I think you offered to help me once, way back when, and I wasn't ready. But now I'm drowning in emails. So I'm not sure if that's something you wanted to do. But anyways, you have my email, and I am looking for some help. I think you're close to me, so we could probably meet in person and have at least a conversation to see if this could work. But I need help. So Smiling Eyes, I believe that was you. So thank you. Okay, Dory Scott. Okay, in the chat, live chat here. Dory Scott, when can we expect the EBS? Now that's interesting. Let me bring this up too. Also, I said this earlier today, 3 hours ago. Playbook. Coming to a town near you, got a Jenny, meaning got a generator. So millions of Chinese residents now lose power after widespread, unexpected shutdowns here. And of course, we're expecting that. A lot of seers, tarot readers, linguistics also showing up that we would be having these rolling blackouts and issues here in North America. So let's tie that in. Let's start with the EBS and then get into the power grid. And are those maybe connected? Because you and I were talking about these days of darkness here also.
Any minute. And what's holding it up in the past, these guys didn't want it more than anything. And so they were desperately making all kinds of threats, I think, to the T team. And we did a reading on that. I don't know if it was with you or did I do it on my own, but we looked into that. I looked into that for sure. Where, remember that Phil guy? I don't know. He's the same guy that was on the dark web phone call with Mr. T and a bunch of generals. Then he did another backup one where he was telling everybody that there was some deal struck and that the bad guys surrendered, actually.
Oh, yes, we did that on the show last week. You're right.
Yeah, they didn't want the EBS thing to go ahead. In fact, that's what this looks like. It's their worst nightmare. Okay, not that I care that it's their worst nightmare, but it's their worst. Right. They do not. So they've been holding it up with all kinds of threats, is what I'm thinking. And then now it feels like it's a matter of like, so they moment to moment think about when they're going to do it. Because the world is, everything's coming full circle time. There's nothing stopping them anymore. Mm-hmm. From what I'm getting. So it's about, now it's completely in the hands of, so whatever the threat was, it's been neutralized by the good guys, is what I figure. And they don't care anymore. So they can go ahead when it suits them. And they don't have anything holding over their head from the bad guys like they used to. Like maybe those you know what, things that go boom, mm-hmm. that were hidden in various places. There was that threat. And then there was a bunch of weather threats. And then there was blah, blah, blah. And I think the bad guys have shown that they're out of money, ideas, and oomph, any kind of oomph. And I think that the white hats know that. And mm-hmm. I don't think there are any threats left that are that big that they would stop them from doing this.
Wow. Okay. And how about the power outages, and how does it tie in perhaps to what you and I were talking about the other day, some of these flares coming up, which now we're seeing in mainstream news kind of tie into a lot of our psychics who were saying that we would have some issues with communications also, whether that was by design, like perhaps in some areas in down under right now, or here in North America very soon to be apparently also. How do we tie that in?
Okay, whatever's going on the screen there, I got this card first, which is unnecessary. So it could even have been pumped out to get everybody scared. Mm-hmm. You know, and we've heard this before. We've heard that things were going to hit the earth and, a whole bunch of it was going to be destroyed, and asteroids. Yep. And remember, we've had all kinds of fears over the last 2 years that I know of. I'm sure when I wasn't paying attention and other people were on this train that I just jumped on about 2 years ago, that was going on nonstop as well. There's all these recirculating things. And I feel like in this case, surrender to, it was mostly pumped out to scare people. So whatever that story was, I'm getting that it's not, this isn't based in truth here. It's created to scare the you-know-what out of you. And we've got the Justice card here because things are going on. I believe a lot of what's been going on is to cover up for people being rounded up, tribunals, cleaning out dumbs. Like there's so much activity going on that people forget, like, because we don't literally see it. It's hard to understand that meanwhile, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. And I really get there is. And both these cards are in the reading, and they're very much about tribunals, things to do with justice, people being brought to justice, people being brought in front of committees that would be weighing their deeds out, like stuff. So a lot of these things could be just distraction. Mm-hmm. To scare you or keep you busy over here while a whole bunch of stuff's going on over here.
We got that for sure in Down Under, that is at least part of what's happening here with the obfuscation of the news and some of the coverage there not being reported there. Okay. Now, going back to these calms down situation, not necessarily DBS, you and I have talked about this quite a few times on the show already. can we pull some cards to get an update on that? Now, just for the audience who might be hearing this for the first time, Janine and I are seeing that we might have some issues in communications and also the banking system, payment systems, banking systems, and these would be intermittent, maybe 2-3 days in a row, but they could last maybe a couple months, but be spotty. Let's ask the cards here for an update on that as to how close we are to maybe some of those outages here. A lot of people are asking, how do I prepare? How quick do I need to get ready for this? What's going on?
And again, right in the middle, I feel like some of the stories out there are largely exaggerated. So here's the cards describing the situation. So I think intermittent with that Lovers cards, because the Lovers kind of is a balance. So they're going to balance it out a little bit here, a little bit there. These guys are losing power here. Then it rolls over here, and these guys, I don't know, they have it planned somehow. I don't know what they're up to, but they got it so it's intermittent. I don't know how they do these things. I have no idea. But this card in the middle says a lot of the stories you're hearing are way exaggerated. And every time I look at those things, that's what I get. So I just saw people always send me this, but from some, I can't even remember the name of the website, but that guy's famous for like, is he Adam something or other? Anyways, he just.
The Health Ranger, Mike Adam?
Could it be? Yeah, Mike Adam.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. Putting out fear like nobody's business. Like the stuff I was reading today, I was like, come on, buddy. Like doomsday, doomsday, doomsday.
Well, you actually pulled cards on him a couple of months ago. I'm not sure if it was live or in one of our pay-per-views, but your cards came up with, he was actually paid to do what he was doing. He had been reached out by
so he's literally pumping out nonstop alarms. And I personally don't send me that stuff, you guys. Like he might have a good purpose in the war or whatever, but it's like so not what you want to waste your time listening to. And that's every time I look at it, I get that. So if you want to stay sane and you don't want to go off freaking out and into the negative, you don't want to watch that kind of stuff. Sorry.
No, but if you want some practical data, a bunch of people are saying, hey, where can I find Cliff High? Yes, Cliff has a lot of really, really cool videos, very informative, to the point. You can find him on BitChute. You can see it here. I won't put the link down. But yeah, this last video here too. Also, Wave Woo just came out today. But you guys need to watch Breakdown Woo if you haven't seen this video here too. It'll give you a good indication of where we are and exactly what we're talking about here in terms of the calms down and some of the breakages that we're going to see here as these old structures need to fall in order for the new ones to rise. And you have to understand that this devolution has been planned not by the bad guys, but by universe, actually, that is promoting this crushing of these old systems that were put in place to enslave us in order for us to decide which systems and organic economies that we want to bring forward. So go check out these videos. Absolutely cool. Okay, Janine, 56 minutes in. Holy shit, it goes fast. I still have half a slide deck of questions for you. Oh my God. Okay, let's start here. I just posted this earlier today. I'm excited to share this with our audience here. Finally, Janine and I will be hosting this live housewarming party. This is going to be, oh wait, let me bring this off the screen so you guys can see this. There you go. Sunday, October 3rd at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So we are going to be simulcasting both from the Sending Ravens YouTube channel and my channel. And on my channel, Catherine Edwards is going to join me also live here to co-host the party for you guys. And she says, of course, I'm not going to miss an opportunity to drink champagne with you guys. So Perfect. There you go. The housewarming party is finally here. All right. Yeah. Are you excited, Janine?
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm absolutely excited. Yeah.
All right, absolutely.
It's going to be mainly online, but there's a few people are coming. Okay. I have my son, I had a roommate for a while, and a lot of my longtime viewers will remember Cole, my roomie, who was my son's best friend. He lived with us for a couple of years, and now he's 18 and he's moved out on his own and whatever. But he's bringing his guitar and he's going to play. We're not allowed. We can't actually play it live, even in case it gets censored, but he's going to be setting up, and we're going to have a little chat with him, and he'll tell you where you can find his music and everything, so people get to meet him. My son has to work that day, as he just starts a job, so he's pretty sad about that. He won't be on, but I got a few friends coming over. Some people got back to me and they're coming, and then about half of them said no, that my politics is just too offensive. And you know what? Whatever.
Okay. I think you're gonna have a few thousand people join us on the live stream. It'll more than compensate.
Yeah, we're good. And I'm not feeling sorry for myself. In fact, I absolutely feel good about everything we're doing, because somebody's got to do this. Like, somebody's got to be there for the human race. My goodness. Yeah. When all the dust settles, like we know we were there for the humans.
Yeah. Absolutely.
What could be better? And, we're going to win this one.
Right. And I have to take this opportunity on behalf of Janine and myself to say thank you to everyone who supported Janine in this house move here. We had this coupon code going last month. It was the Janine Housewarming party coupon code. And so a big thank you to all of you guys who contributed to that. Janine, do you want to say a few words about that also from there?
Okay, that was so sweet and kind. And I had no idea it would be such a voluptuous giving. It was absolutely surprising and beautiful and wonderful. And then people were sending me things on top of it, which, please don't. I love everything I got, but it's like literally I'm going to need a whole nother house to house all that stuff. Anyway, generosity is incredible.
Absolutely.
And give to a neighbor or a friend on my behalf, or a needy person, if you feel like you absolutely have to give any more to me, because I'm feeling, other than what we're doing on the shows and the tip jars and everything, which keeps us going, which is wonderful. As far as my house goes, I'm feeling so given to, and so it's been such a beautiful gift. And what I'm going to do with the money, in case anyone's interested, is I'm redoing my son's bathroom. And even the contractor said, "Why are you doing your son's bathroom before yours?" And I said, because he's my absolute,
my son.
My daughter's my pride and joy, and my son's my pride and joy. And he's living with me still, so I want him to have a really nice space.
That's very good. And Beth says, JC, you're a wonderful friend. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, Janine is a wonderful friend to me as well. We finally found each other in this lifetime again, old brothers and sisters, and having fun with each other. So thank you so much for that. And of course, tip jar on the screen. A big thank you to all of you tonight. And of course, we can't always get to all of your questions. So we do really appreciate the fact that you understand we're doing our best to get to as many as we can. But the rest, of course, goes to support our endeavors to be able to do all of these shows here for free for you guys as well. On the top note, also, we have, for those of you who might have missed the Janine Housewarming coupon code, and those of you who are still looking at perhaps getting in on this Insider Access Pass, which gives you previewing access to all of our content and also communication with us in terms of building the content for the future. The coupon code we have going on now is Stay Connected. And explain that one a little bit, why we put this one together, Janine.
Yeah, well, we are expecting outages. It's already happening, like they're saying in China, but it's also not the UK, although they've had a little bit going on. They're out of gas. So everybody in the UK is telling me the gas stations are lined up for miles, and then they run out. So like things are coming, and they're coming our way too. Like we've been told about this, and we're just going to have to weather and band together. And this is a way, if you get on this system, right, even if you have outages, you'll be able to watch something and stay connected. And that was the idea. And you want to, once you get these, you want to download them so you can actually watch them even if you don't have Wi-Fi. So that's the whole idea, right?
Right, exactly. All right. So folks, stay connected. And that is for the Insider Access Pass. You can find that at beyondmystic.net/pay-per-view. Let me show you guys what that looks like if you haven't seen that already. So this is it. And there's a lot of content. You see a couple of pages of videos there, and we keep adding. So there's a lot more. Oh, and on that note, so Reda and I just decided we're recording next Tuesday, episode 3 of the Kundalini Secrets Revealed series. So that's going to be absolutely fascinating. And Rihanna is also coming back here. We are redoing essentially the series that was banned from YouTube and got deleted on my first channel, for which I didn't have backups for at the time. There's a whole bunch of stories with that. So anyways, she's agreed to come back on the show and share with us her knowledge and the book that she wrote, Brave, Beautiful, and Bearing It All, how she used those energies to heal herself and to heal the world around her. This is absolutely an amazing series. Of course, can be on YouTube for obvious reasons. So anyways, that is coming up very, very soon as well. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. Please remember, again, to like, share, and subscribe here on my third backup channel. Help me rebuild that community that was taken away recently. And also, please go and subscribe to Tarot by Janine. And also, if you're not already, subscribe to Sending Ravens. We're trying to bump up these numbers to match the ones on Tarot by Janine. And it is, yes, different content on both websites, even though it's still Janine. Yeah. Here it's Janine Unplug. So you'll get to see her in her car driving around and having fun, maybe bitching at some restaurants who are being absolutely irresponsible right now. So you guys can have fun with that. All right, folks, that was Tarot Reading by Janine on our, what are we today? For Monday. Okay, so we'll be back Wednesday in 2 days. Oh my God, I had so many shows to do. So back on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern. And please do, again, join us tomorrow for this reading with Indigo Angel, Galactic Download with Indigo Angel tomorrow at 4. And also tomorrow night, Bull Pony is coming back on the show. And we will be going deep into the economic reset. And his episode is, I believe he's saying it's going to be the fall in the fall. So you guys know what we're talking about here. And it lines up with our Beyond Crypto Woo data as well. So I'm excited to have this conversation with him to gather a little bit more of this data here in terms of this financial reset that we find ourselves in. So thank you so much, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and we'll see you soon. Au revoir.
Au revoir.